Jared Polin, PhonosPhoto.com, and this is your
Okay, guys, we're gonna do this again, obviously.
Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by Squarespace, my go-to when I want to quickly and easily build a website, buy a domain, and launch it in a matter of minutes.
Mount Alliance.
At this point, you know I've been using Squarespace for well over a decade, and if you haven't tried it yet, now is probably a good time. Whether you want to build your own online portfolio or sell products, Squarespace has you covered. For real, in a matter of minutes, you could be selling digital products or your photos online easily and quickly to the world. And guess what? It's simple, easy, and affordable. To get your 14-day free trial, head on over to squarespace.com/PhonosPhoto. If you decide that it's for you, use the code PhonosPhoto at checkout to get 10% off your first order. First up is Sigma about to announce a 200F 1.8.
You tell me.
Well, according to Sony Alpha Rumors, the answer is yes. Their source believes, keyword there, believes, that Sigma might, another keyword there, might, announce this lens for Sony E-mount and the L mount Alliance. Way back in the day, Canon offered a 200F 1.8, and I got a chance to use it when I shot hockey indoors. And when I say back in the day, I mean like back in the day when we shot film and we were shooting Fuji Press 800 for all of our indoor hockey, and having the ability to let more light in was a huge deal back then. Now, if there's anybody who can make a lens like this, it's gonna be Sigma, but I'm not sure how valid this rumor is just yet. But I do want to share one of the reasons Sony Alpha Rumors guy think that this lens would be so epic. And I quote, "On my Alpine tours, I do use often the 200mm focal length of my Tamron 28 to 200mm. But the Tamron has an f/5.6, while the Sigma is more than 3 f-stops faster. This results in visibly cleaner images." Well, no shit, numbnuts. Maybe don't use a toy lens and try to compare it to something even better. That's just plain old stupid.
Stupid as a stupid does.
Of course a 1.8 is going to be better than your 5.6, but it's not like you couldn't have carried, say, a 70 to 200 2.8 around, and you can't tell me, oh, but the weight, because if you're going to take a 200 1.8, there's going to be weight to that as well. Regardless, a 200 1.8 would be a truly interesting lens, especially on mirrorless cameras. What do you think? Let me know down below. Next up, we have two Canon rumors, one about a lens I personally would like, and the other about a future body.
I got a new body.
Now let's start with the lens. They are claiming, and by they I mean Canon Rumors, is that Canon will release a 14 to 28 2.8 L IS USM Z lens. I've personally not been too keen on Canon's wide pro options. Yes, they have a 15 to 35 2.8, which is, it's a really nice lens, but it doesn't go to 14. But 14mm is a lot wider than 15. Now I know it doesn't sound like it, but in reality, the angle of view is much wider. They do have a 14 to 30 f4 and a 10 to 20 f4 when you want to go ultra wide, but there's something about a 14. It's not too wide, it's not too long, it is just right. Now, if that lens is real, I will be all over it. Though I do think that they'll one day come out with something like a 11 to 20 f2. Now that would be insane. And the second part of the rumor is about the R7 Mark II. Canon Rumors has been told to expect this camera by the end of the year. Now, in terms of specs, they claim it will get a resolution bump to 40 megapixels and be able to shoot 8K. And my first thought right there is, well, that sounds terrible. Small sensor plus more pixels equals what?
I'm not sure.
Less quality, everybody. I don't care about 8K and not sure that too many people actually do. Where can we even view 8K anyway?
I don't know.
They go on to say you can expect an increase in size of the body, and potentially it will be able to utilize the same cooling grips as the R5 Mark II. That would mean a much bigger body. I personally don't understand this fascination with packing so much into a cropped sensor body when full frame prices have come way down. I get wildlife photographers thinking they're getting more reach or more bang for their buck, when in reality, they aren't when it comes down to it at the end of the day. The current R7 is on sale for $14.99 and the full frame R8 is on sale for $12.99. Now, I'm not sure the value proposition is there on the still side, but maybe they'll announce an R7V alongside an R7 II? I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. And finally, Nikon has announced their Z5 II. The Z5 was a fun but slow little camera that was hampered by its autofocus. So is the Z5 II more like a Z50 II or a Z6 III? The answer, well, more like the Z6 III. It's pretty much a Z6 III, but with a different sensor. The body feels way more solid than I expected and mimics the button layout of the Z6 III. I did get my hands on one for a few days, and we have a full preview, which is linked down below. The camera sports a 24.5 megapixel BSI sensor, whereas the Z5 has an old school DSLR sensor that was not BSI. This sensor is not partially stacked like the Z6 III, and it's pretty much the same sensor that you found in the Nikon ZF. ISO goes from 100 to 64,000 natively. In terms of autofocus, it's on par with the Z6 III in my real-world usage, but it still has the same hiccups we've come to expect with Nikon when trying to capture people's profiles, but straight on, it finds the eye without a problem. There's 9 autofocus detection modes, including bird mode, which the Z6 III still does not have and pisses off a lot of Nikon shooters. You can shoot at 11 frames per second RAW or 14 frames per second JPEG with the mechanical shutter. The Z5 only got 4.5 frames per second. There is a C15 and C30 mode, but in JPEGs only, and of course, only with the electronic shutter. You can do 1 second of pre-capture. Of course, that's electronic shutter as well. You've got 5-axis IBIS with 7.5 stops of VR, full width 4K oversampled from 6K up to 30 frames per second video. The Z5 had a 1.7x crop factor, which doesn't make it very good when you were shooting video. You can do 4K 60p with a DX crop and get 2 hours of record time. Now, all of this comes in at a body-only price of $16.99, whereas the original came in at $1,400.
Adjusting for inflation.
Oh yeah, the ZF, which is basically the same camera as this, is $2,000 because you're paying for the looks. It's the looks. I don't know, is this something that you would consider? If so, let me know down below. And there you have it, that's your photo news fix this time around. Thank you very much for watching. Jared Polin, PhotoNewsPhoto.com. See ya.